In this video, we're going to be taking a look on page Word 36, and that is researching information. The Word Research feature allows you to quickly search reference sources for information related to a word or phrase. Among the reference sources available in the Research task pane is a Thesaurus, which you can look up synonyms for an awkward or repetitive word. So if you use a word very frequently, sometimes you like to break up a document by changing up the word a little bit. And then it also tells us when you are working with an active internet connection, the Research task pane provides access to dictionaries, encyclopedias, translations, and other reference sources, as well as some third-party research services, such as medical and legal dictionaries. If we look at step 1 on that page, Word 36, it tells us that we should scroll down until the headline is displayed at the top of your screen. And the headline is the Catherine's Quas to speak in QST's Wonderlust Travelogue series. So we're going to put that at the top of our screen. Step 2 tells us that we are going to select Noted here. And that Noted is in the first sentence of the third paragraph. Once we have that selected, we're going to click up here in the proofing group, Thesaurus. And notice that now it's going to look up the word noted for us. Now, if you click on this list arrow here, there is some different options that you may see on there. We're not going to click on that at this time period, but that's where you could change if you want to look up the dictionary or to translate the word. But in this case, we're going to point to, after we click on the Thesaurus in the proofing group, this is going to give us all of the different synonyms for the word noted. Of course, you can also click on the research button in the proofing group, and that's this one right up here, at any point in time to open up this research task pane. Step 4 tells us that we're going to point to prominent, and notice it has a little list arrow next to the word prominent. It's highlighted there. Now, at any point in time, if you ever wanted to look up a different word on there, all you have to do is just type that in for the search for, click on the green arrow, or the little white and green arrow box there, and you can go ahead and look for your new word. Step 4 tells us we're going to click on this down pointing arrow, the list arrow, and notice we have the options of insert, copy, and look up. Step 4 tells us that we're going to click Insert on the home menu that appears. Once we do that, we click on Insert, and you'll notice that it changed the word noted, which was highlighted over here, to prominent. And don't forget, if you clicked on something else to deselect the word and it inserted in prominent by mistake, don't forget, you always have the undo button up here that you can undo that insert. Then what we're going to do is we're going to close the research task pane, which is this little close button right here, the X right there. On step 5, it tells us that we are going to right click the word innumerable in the first sentence of the first paragraph. So if we take a look through here, we read through this, and the first word right here in that third line is innumerable. So we're going to select that word, and in this case we're going to right click it, and notice that down here we have the synonyms. So we're going to point to synonyms in this shortcut menu that pops up, or on this edit menu that pops up, and notice it gives us some words that mean the same thing. In this case, we are going to choose the word numerous, which is the second option here. When you click on that, notice that it changes the word for you. So numerous replaces innumerable in the press release for us. Step 6 tells us that we're going to select the 4 paragraphs of body text, including the paragraph mark at the end. So we may have to go through there and select up our formatting marks. And if we do that, we're just going to make sure that we select all 4 of these paragraphs, including that last paragraph mark there at the end. And now what we're going to do is, underneath the Review tab on there, we are going to click the Word Count button in the proofing group. And it's this little button right down here. It says Word Count. When you click on that, a dialog box will open. And that dialog box lists the number of pages, the number of words, the number of characters, paragraphs, and lines that are included in your text. And you can also notice that your status bar will also display the number of words included in the selected text if that is selected as one of the options. It also tells you the number of words in the entire document. If you want to view the page, character, paragraph, and line count for the entire document, this makes sure nothing is selected in your document, and you can just click on that word count on there and it will count everything in your document. But in this section, we can see that it's one page, 225 words. There's the number of characters with spaces and the number of character or with no spaces and the number of character with spaces. There is 5 total paragraphs here, which that's because we have an extra paragraph mark in there, which we'll have to remove here in momentarily. And then there are 20 lines. And so if you're ever writing a term paper or writing an essay that has to be a certain number of words, don't count them individually, let Word do it for you. To get rid of that extra paragraph on there, we're going to delete out this little paragraph mark right here if you have that. Now if you don't, that's perfectly fine. This is the way the document should look at this time period. On step 7, I've already done this, but if we would click on the word count, and we need to make sure, of course, then this will show you that how many words there are total in the document. Step 7 tells us we're going to click on close on this, and that will close that dialog box. And then we're going to press Control Home to go all the way back up to the top of the document. Now, of course, we can add or remove available reference sources by clicking the research options in the research task pane. So if we want to go here, we can take a look. We can go down here to research options and we can choose different types of research sources for us. In step 8, it tells us that what we're going to do is that we are going to click the Office button, click Save As, and we're going to save this as Wonderlust PR Public in the file name. So if we go through here, click our Office button, go to Save As, the Save As dialog box appears, and instead of just saying Wonderlust PR, we're going to add the word public to the end of that. And we're going to keep it in the same location as your previous file, so we're just going to click on the Save button here, and that will save your document. Now there is some information on page Word 37 you should take a look at, which is talking about blogs on there, and which we know that a blog, which is really short for weblog, is an informational journal that is created by an individual or a group and made public on the internet. And this gives you some information on how you can use Word to help you create a blog. Well, that concludes this video right here. The next video we're going to be taking a look at adding hyperlinks. So you are now finished with this video and maybe move on to the next.